here is Rick Scott. Apparently, Joe Manchin, because Joe Manchin is the pivot point of everything that happens in our government, as you know. I think that's in the Constitution. And let me just also say this. If you have not had a chance to read the New York Times piece on Joe Manchin's history of exploiting his, and this almost like undersells it, exploiting his positions as a government official at various times to enhance his business prospects, please do. The really annoying part about this is that the New York Times will do that great reporting on it, and then you'll have the political reporters just sort of saying like, Joe Manchin's the type of guy who doesn't want to spend without paying for things. No, he has an idea. It's not an ideological perspective Joe Manchin has. He has a, I'm getting rich.
Yeah.
And this is one of the ways I get rich perspective.
Every New York Times piece that mentions Joe Manchin should hyperlink to that investigative piece until the end of time, but it won't.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it should also be the foundations of their understanding of what he's doing as a government official.
As opposed to existing in the silo.
Exactly. And so with that said, Joe Manchin is pushing for some austerity measures. He doesn't want people to get, used to, he doesn't want people living in their hammock of getting an earned, a child tax credit or something to that effect. They're pushing for austerity. Now, because tax revenues are starting to go through the roof, I think, because of the economy going up, we're doing deficit cutting without having to really do much because more tax revenues are coming in. The Democrats in the Senate are starting to push either windfall tax or some version of a windfall tax. Joe Biden is talking about a tax on folks with more than $100 million. And here is Rick Scott entering into the fray with his sort of like 47% of the country are takers and they need to be taxed proposition.
Recently put out an 11-point plan to rescue America, two of the big points of which are, quote, all Americans should pay some income tax to have skin in the game, even if a small amount. Currently, over half of Americans pay no income tax. It also says all federal legislation sunsets in 5 years. If a law is worth keeping, Congress can pass it again. So that would raise taxes on half of Americans and potentially sunset programs like Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Why would you propose something like that in an election year?
Sure. Well, John, that's of course.
Pause it. Now, if John Roberts wasn't for Fox, the question isn't election year. The question would be, why would you propose something like that? Period. Ever. But it gets
so
worse.
much harm.
I just remind me to talk about the idea of federal laws sunsetting and how utterly deranged and stupid this is, even from a criminal mind like Lex Luthor here. But go ahead.
Sure. Well, John, that's of course the Democrat talking points. It's a
it's in the plan. It's in the plan. Here's this thing about reality for a second. First off, let's talk about Medicare. But Senator, hang on, John. So it's not a Democratic talking point. It's in the plan.
And also in the plan, it says we ought to every year talk about exactly how we're going to fix Medicare and Social Security.
The idea, and this is in the plan, as the guy from Fox News said, it's in the plan. And McConnell wants to run away from this in a big way. And Lex Luthor there, he's a little nervous about it. But just contemplate, like, even if you are, regardless, look at any type of agency, business, non-governmental agency, government agency, person. I mean, if you're involved in any type of enterprise, the idea that, okay, so we're getting this type of funding here for 5 years, and then year 6, it could be 0.
Yeah.
There's no way you can't function that way.
No.
You cannot.
Even McConnell understands that, but it's just a way for, to launder like, oh, let's reconsider these things every 5 years or so. The his desire to cut them entirely.
Yes, of course. And it's not even like I like there's no entity, like even the businesses would be like, well, wait a second. We get a lot of our contracts from the government.
Yeah, it creates massive
what if that doesn't-
insecurity
I'm not sure we should be doing.
and volatility.
I mean, it's just absurd. You can't make any long-term plans as an agency or a business or a person or any of that. You can't make any. Maybe you'll have Social Security when you retire. Maybe you won't. Like literally writing that into our law.
Yeah. Also, there's no precedent for that in the Bible, but what there is in the Bible is a Jubilee precedent, which says you should relieve debts after a certain period of years. So I think we should do that first, and then we can think about what Rick Scott is talking about.
Yes. Didn't Jesus also say it's easier for a rich man to get into heaven than it is for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle?
Yeah.
That's also in the Bible. Rick?
I don't read that one. I don't read that Bible. I read the first one.
Yeah, mine was in the first one.
I don't even read the first one, to be totally honest with
Yeah,
you. But I have. I have. I've come across it.
Cover to cover?
Oh yeah.
I once tried to do that.
I did that actually recently.
Really?
Well,
It's,
I got a dramatized version on Audible.
oh, good. Because it is not fun otherwise.
No, it is.
And the text is teeny.